Now we want to add this form to our pages. We'll create a new, this will be our contact page. And then we want to add in the content, I'm assuming block or the form shows up here. It does not. So where does form show up? We'll look in here. So how do I add this form to a page? Okay, so here's where we go to look at the documentation. Examples, form builder. Let's start there. So source, collections, pages, index. So then blocks form, source, blocks form, index. All right, let's go full screen here. So we have our examples here, our form builder. All right, so let's look back at website. Let's make sure that the actual plugin is here though. So if we go to our, I believe it's going to be in our source, then payload config, plugins, plugins from plugins, index. We see the form builder plugin. All right, so then let's see where this is put in anywhere. So page, slug, blocks. Well, in that case, so let's go to look at our collections. And we'll go to pages and we'll look at index. Let's see here. We have our form block again, which is in our blocks form. So that doesn't look like the plugin. So let's see then if we go to our, this is our pages config, we can go to our blocks somewhere. And then collection, we see form block from blocks form config, but we don't want to create our own collection, or our own block rather. So hold on, where am I? Blocks, form, because all this is from the template. Config import. Oh, okay. So we want to set a relationship field to which form we would like. So easy enough. So we'll say, we'll put it in our hero section so it's easy to find. So, well, actually we can put it in our sidebar. That would be even easier to find. So, okay, so right here we'll do name, form, type, do relationship, relation to, forms. It's not going to be required. All right, so we can then go back over to our collections, go to pages. Now let's create that contact page. Contact with our form being contact. And here we'll just choose our normal thumbnail here. That will be populated. Page status will be published. Did that save contact form? Perfect. Don't know why that didn't save. And we can save. And now we'll see what happens. Localhost contact. Though I shouldn't be able to see anything because I don't think I have anything rendered for our form. I do not. Perfect. Okay, so I've got an image. I don't have any of the SEO stuff input though, so we'll auto-generate a title. Now here we need to put in our form. So how do they do this on the front end? So we'll go to website, then we'll say our source, and I guess blocks form component. Okay. So they have a whole component here. And I wonder, can I import this component? I don't think I can. So we're just going to steal it because that's the way to go. So we'll do blocks and then we'll set a new, how do I want to do this? New, let's do directory. We'll do form and then we'll set a new file that we will call component. Let's just copy the raw file, do that. Okay, so we got to do a couple things. I'm going to have to do each of these individual fields by myself then. And each of them are going to need to be styled in their own specific way, it seems. So let's see how they do it, but I'm going to have to do my own. So they've got some interesting stuff going on, and I think some of this is using Tailwind, which is not going to be fun. All right, well, this is what we're here for, right? Let's get started. So we're going to change how they style things, but we're going to take their structure. So we have our source, our blocks, our form. We have our main form component. So let's start with the checkbox. So directory, checkbox, new, file, index.tsx. So we can copy all of this. And then I don't have an error, a width, or a checkbox UI thing here. But they do. So let's take a look at what these are. So if I go to error, all right, so form, error, so we'll start there. New directory, error, then we'll do a new style sheet to start, index.module. That. Cool, I don't have a color red. What do they have it set as? If I may see. I apparently may not. I may. Okay, so it's complete red. So we will just do, all right. And then in our error, we'll do a new file, index.tsx, and then import it. And so what this is doing is that it's taking the class's error from here. And then we have a React component that returns, this is a required message in red. So perfect, that works. We have export error, we're good there. Perfect. So error is set. Let's go back to form and find width, which is the other thing that's going to be across all of them. Great, so we will then create a new directory with width. And then I could just copy and paste all of this from their Git repository, but why would I do that? That's too easy. So we'll say index.jsx or tsx. And then we can do a new style sheet, do index.module. This, copy that. All right, so we have this placed somewhere else. All right, so here, app, CSS, and then we've got queries. There we go. So now that will enable that, and then width, come back here. And so if you're just joining, we're working on getting our form plugin working. And I'm just really stealing all of Payload's styles for what they have for their forms, then I can adjust it however we see fit. But first I need to get a form actually shown in order for that to work. And so each of these have an error and a width. And then I see these checkbox UI. So we've got some UI stuff to go look at, like label. Oh, I'm back in examples form builder. So let's go to their website template. All right, so this is back where we wanted to be. All right, so we've got width done, we've got error done. Now we need to go up to source, components, UI, and then label. So here we're going to take their label that they use. And so here I don't love that they're going to be using Tailwind for this, but I may be able to add my own styles to it, but we'll see. So let's see what we have. If we're at our components, I think I already have this, which is why I'm looking. Yeah, UI, and then I have my label. And that is exactly the same. So label is good. I think this is just, I don't have a checkbox component. That's right. That's why that's showing up. So then they've got this checkbox, which will then copy and in the UI create a new file, checkbox.tsx. Put that in there. And again, we're going to have Tailwind in here as well as some Radix stuff and Lucide, whatever. All good. That's now in there, and I should have checkbox set. Okay. So great. Let's work on the next. And I'm only going to use the components that I'm using so far for our forms. So let's actually go and leave UI open, because I'm going to need a couple of these, I think. Don't actually know that. So we're going back to app, front end. This is wrong. I'm going to go to source, blocks, form. And then I'm not going to use country. I will use email. So let's open that up. Take this, input and label. So I'm going to, I have UI here. So I need input. Copy that. Oh, I already have input. Great. So let's copy all of this, come up to our blocks, go to form, create a new directory for our email, and then add a new copyright, new, dang it, man, new TypeScript file, call it index, and then paste all of this email field stuff, and that just works automatically. Great. Love that journey for me. Go to form. I already did error, so we've got that. I've got width. I will need something for message, so let's go ahead and open that up. Okay. Do a new form block, directory, message. Do a new TypeScript file. We're going to do index. Ooh, I cannot spell today. Refresh, rename index. And then copy this message. Now, they have a different rich text component than I do. So I'm going to import serialized lexical and replace this with serialized lexical with nodes message.root. Should be .children. There we go. Weird. All right. So back here, we can delete this rich text. Should be good to go. So we'll keep that in mind. But we've got our message. We can then move down to number, which I don't think I have included in our form. So let's take a look at that. We've got our message. We've got our email and our name, which is a text. So I don't think we want to worry too much about any of these other fields we're not using quite yet. So we will end this part with just the text option. So we'll go to form, create a new directory. And I know this is not the most sexy part of setting up a project, but getting the form builder working is going to be, I think, key for what I'm trying to do. So we're going to take this text field. We've got input, we've got React. All right, so all of those should be good. I will come back for that. And then we're going to come back up to form. We're going to take their fields.tsx, TypeScript fields. And then how they did this is how we're going to do it as well. But we don't have any of these right now. We'll add them later. I don't have a number one, so I don't know why that didn't go away either. Okay, so let's just comment all those out. And so I have all of these fields. And then we're going to come here to component, and we're going to change this to be our own serialized lexical that I have. We'll find where they have their button. We'll figure out this get URL and initial form state as well. But we're going to replace this with my own lexical serializer. Set these to be nodes. Intro content dot root dot children. I don't think that needs to be a question mark. And then do the same thing here. Dot root children. I don't even think that needed it. Enable gutter. I don't even have that, so I'm going to erase that. And then all of that should be good. So now we just need to get our UI button, which I have here. UI, got a button. So first, though, we're going to create a new TypeScript file, and we're going to do a button. So we'll fix, well, button's good. So that's there. So we need to actually go to our fields. We are going to use a text area. So we're going to come back up here to the form, add a new directory for text area. And then we're going to create a new TypeScript file and do index. Great. So here we need a text area, do index, and yank that. Then it looks like they have a UI component for that as well. So we come back up to UI. We take the UI down here, do a new TypeScript file that's text area.tsx. I have no idea what any of these are going to look like, so I'm going to keep most of these windows open. So when we actually get to the styling, I'm going to be able to edit these how I want them to be instead of how Payload has it, because most of these are built with Tailwind and some like component libraries, which I don't use a whole lot of. So I want to make sure that these are what I want them to look like. All right, so now we have our fields. That's going to have our text area, email, and text field at the very least. Now we need to find their build initial form state and then their get URL utility. So let's go there first. We have our utilities, get URL, which if this is for a redirect, we're not going to do this because I'm not going to use redirects in our form. So redirect, get redirect. It does not look like that is the case. So where does this get URL get used? Oh, get client signed URL is what I'm looking for. So it's used at submit form. So let's go to our utilities. We'll add a new file, which we'll call get url.ts. Paste all that in there, see what breaks. Can use DOM is one of the things. So I need to add that to my utility, new file, can use dom.ts. Great. Get URL, great. Component, I now have that. So now the last part is getting the initial form state. So if we go to our blocks, if we go to our form, it should be in here, build initial form state, copy that, go to our form, create a new, make this easier on myself, a new file called build initial form state, paste all of that, nothing breaks. So build initial form state should be done, except this needs to be in form, which is, it is in form. Oh, I misspelled it. Do that quite a bit, especially today. I've not been feeling the greatest, so I've been trying to just muscle through it, but all the sugar and carbs of the holidays will do that to you, right? All right. So now we have all of the form stuff built.